It's SoFi Wednesday, so that means we're going to take a look at the daily and weekly chart for SoFi. We'll also take a little look at the open options interest for this week, next week, and the longer dated ones for the year and 2 year. And then as well, I think we'll take a look at the upcoming data today, mainly because there is some big news out today that I think is going to move the market quite substantially. Jumping straight into the daily chart here, we're having a lot of insider bars here. They look bullish. They look like they want to break up and push towards this bull market band and resistance, which is going to be the next level. I suspect if the data comes in good today, that is supportive of a cut, this one's going to pop off a little bit and at least attempt this resistance line, if not pushing over it and then turning it back into support, which would be perfect. Sorry if you can hear the doors slamming. There's a lot of people in this house on holiday and they're all banging the doors. Kids can't help it. What we're talking about, yeah, and then after that, once we've turned that into support, we can start trying again at this diagonal trend line here. But the main thing I want to do is get above this bull market band. It is a thin one, so once it goes, it should be good. Looking down at the indicators, RSI is flat. Good to see. We got death cross that has started to expand a bit, but I think if we can pop on some good data, that this will be invalidated for the most part, and flow is flat. On the weekly chart, it looks a little bit more bearish. Obviously, we had this really strong candle when we had all the rough data in the rough week. But it's nice to see it stay within this trend area, this flag, which typically we can look back and see SoFi always sticks with. And then when it does make its pop, we have a really good measured move. Measured move for this one. I don't think I updated this one. Let me just quickly overlay it for you. Sorry, that was another door slam out there. So it depends where it breaks out, but measured move is probably going to get us up to this green line most likely. So that's nice to see. But the RSI is flat. Death cross is not really expanding. I really like that on the weekly. That makes me very happy to see that. And institutions are kind of still hanging around, pretty even. We're under 50%, which isn't ideal, but we'll take what we can. We did also have this golden bar. It was invalidated, but not with much force. This could pop another golden bar off soon, I think. So keep an eye on that. So weekly is looking quite bullish on SoFi. I think if the upcoming data today is good, this could see a nice little pop and at least get us back above this bull market band, which is lovely. But in the long term, I think as rates come down and they start expanding their credit and their loan book, that's really going to help SoFi take off again, which is perfect. That's exactly what I want. So for the options interest, 6 here is going to be really strong support. Can't hate that. And then 850 is going to be the peak resistance in the short term. Obviously, if we look back historically on the chart, that's typically where the chop is. So there's a lot of people trying to take advantage of the volatility in this one. Looking a little bit further out next week, the range is tightening. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean it has to stick within this range. If we get a pop out, we can get quite a considerable pop out. But for the most part, $7 is the area that a lot of people are going to want to take profit. So that's going to set quite a strong level of resistance. So it depends, really. It's going to be a weighing balance if the macro's enough to push people to be more bullish on this one, or if people that are already slightly bullish and wanting to trade the volatility take more out. So we'll have to wait and see on that one. If we just put it out another week, again, we're getting quite rangy, just people trying to take advantage of these short-term price fluctuations. As you can see, really about $8 has been the top, and then 6. So it's quite a tight range for me. I haven't been swing trading this. There's just not enough interest in it for me at these levels. If I wasn't on holiday, I probably would have I would have had a swing trade last week when it had the dip back down to that diagonal trend line. But let's take a look at 2025. Can't hate this. Actually, this is kind of the price I'm looking at for next year. Maybe not as early as January 2025, but this is definitely where I see price going, especially if they can continue to execute and grow. I can't wait to update my models in the next few quarters when we see what their products are doing. And then 2026, prices coming down a bit, but not too much of a concern. Anything up from here is good. Not much interest below $5. I think that's crazy. I don't see that happening, not unless there's some catastrophic black swan event. For the most part, the bears were really worried about the charge-offs, and during the last earning calls, so far I really put that to bed. There, unless there was something really, really bad that happened, it'd be near impossible for them to hit those levels that the bears were talking about as a guaranteed fact. So that's something to bear in mind if you're going to be reading the short reports on this one. Overall, my opinion on so far, I'm still bullish. My thesis is unchanged. If anything, that I'm getting more bullish on them as time goes, especially as price stays depressed. It's just the balancing game here is a bit crazy to me. Much like with PayPal, to be fair, all fintechs have been crapped on a little bit, but that's an opportunity for us. Yes, the time's taken a bit longer, but mostly that's because my thesis regarding the cuts has taken a bit longer than I would have liked. But I've never said I was good at timing the market. I'm just good at holding what I believe to be the correct positions, and don't see that changing anytime soon. Very happy with my weightings. I haven't changed too much, mainly because I've been on holiday. But before that, I did some readjusting on the dip, and I'm happy overall. I'm just waiting for the market to be sensible again. But I'm also happy if the market wants to stay depressed until I make my monthly deposit. But given that's about 15 days away, it's probably not going to happen unless the CPI today was terrible, in which case we might have to make a larger deposit than normal, but we'll see. Let's take a look at the economic data and see what's happening today then. Okay, so the PPI data yesterday came in cool, which we really liked, and obviously we saw the market do pretty well off the back of that. I actually think the core inflation data today will come in good. They're expecting it to be higher, but I think it's definitely, I suspect it's going to be lower than this, but don't hold me on that, and definitely don't make any trades based on that. Do your own analysis and figure out what your trade plan is today. I won't be in when it's released, so I'll come back after my day trip and have a quick look at it and then see from there. I'm not trading anything off the back of this, but for the most part, I'm expecting, like I said, I'm expecting it to be good. I'm expecting a pop off in the market, although I don't necessarily know if it's going to hold. I think it might fade out a little bit. But one thing I did wanted to show you all was for the last week I wasn't sure if this was a dead cat bounce or not. But looking at the daily chart now, it looks a lot better. My main concern now is when we had this drop here, we popped off and we filled the gap and then bled out again. And it seems to have done the same here. We've popped back up, filled the gap. So I think the data today, if this is going to be good and we do pop a little bit, I think that really confirms the bullish trend again, back to normality. So hopefully we can see the rest of this close off. But I don't think I'm super convinced until we break higher or break lower from this area. Initially, it was mainly getting above this, so I'm happy we've filled this gap and we've got up here, but as well on the QQQ. Very similar. We got a little bit higher. It looks a bit better on the a bit easier on the weekly. So we're now above the bull market band, but this weekly candle hasn't closed yet. If we do close below this band, I'm still going to be leaning slightly bearish on it, and on the SPY as well. Again, we did open above it but this is the make or break area. I think today we really confirm which way we're going in the longer term. Well, I say longer term. I mean like probably until the next meeting, as the market I think is going to want to stay in this area. Have fun today with the CPI data, and if you find this useful, give me a like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow.